Welcome to another episode of Lunch with the Shark. Join us as we dive deep into discussions about business, accounting, and finance to help you build a business that thrives. Now sit back and have a bite with your host, the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa.
Well, hello. Welcome to a new edition of Lunch with the Shark. I am your host, Vidal, the Shark CFO Espinosa, and TGIF people, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Friday, March 19th. Damn, we're in the last 10 days of March. Today's the last day of winter, according to Mother Nature. And tomorrow will begin first day of spring. Can't wait. Actually, I used to not like that much spring and or summer. But I am so much looking forward to spring and summer this year. I don't know why. My favorite season, it's fall. Actually, I love fall. I love Christmas, winter. But I feel that this winter has dragged on like forever and ever. In secula seculorum. Damn. It's been a long winter. I don't know why. I don't know if that's what you feel. That this winter has dragged and dragged and dragged. It's like a Duracell bunny. It keeps going and going and going and going. I don't know if you're familiar with that commercial. I don't think it's Duracell or it's I think it's Duracell. The little bunny that keeps going and going and going. That's how I feel with this winter. But what do we celebrate today? Today we celebrate National Let's Laugh Day. I'm pretty sure you're laughing about my Duracell bunny analogy with the winter. So let's laugh. Laughter is the best for everything. Dude, we need to laugh about everything. Even if you fall, what happens when you fall down? Everybody around you, yes, might get concerned, but they laugh. It's human nature to laugh when somebody falls. I don't know why, but you immediately start like giggling and then you completely crack up. Even people that fall, after they fall, they start laughing. First they cry, they hurt, and like, oh my God, it hurts. But then you laugh. Oh, I fell because I'm dumb or something like that. But don't call yourself dumb. So it's National Laugh Day. So let's laugh. Let's laugh at everything. Don't be so serious. Don't be serious about your life. Don't be serious about your business. Don't be serious about your everything in surroundings. Just laugh at it. If you look your life through another lens and through another perspective, it's so easy to bear and handle instead of making it complicated. Also, today it's National Poultry Day. So, if you are not Catholic, because Catholics supposedly we have to eat seafood or nothing related with poultry or beef, that's my belief. Go ahead and eat chicken or any game. It's National Poultry Day. Today, also worldwide, it's National Red Nose Day. If you're not familiar with this is for, I think it's for cancer patients, cancer patients. There was a doctor that did this. He used to go around. There's actually a movie, I think Dr. Patch Adams, and he used to go around medical facilities wearing a red nose. So even at that, laugh. It's not a laughable matter. Don't get me wrong. It's not a laughable matter, but let's look at through another perspective. Okay, I know it's easily said than done, but let's try to work through it. And also, we celebrate National Nurse Day. We must celebrate them this year. It's been a year, I think it was yesterday, since pretty much the whole world stopped. Business, the economy, schools, life stood still. But nurses, doctors, first responders, We're there for everyone. So to our nurses, we thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for taking care of our patients. Thank you for taking care of our family. Thank you for giving us hope when we are not feeling that great and we visit a hospital, we visit a doctor's office. You nurses hold our hands. You nurses help us get better and continue laughing. But with that said, let's move into our episode today. We actually have a very special guest today, and he's going to talk to us about what he does. And the very first question that after he introduces us, I'm going to ask him, what does he do to make life easier and laugh? What's the best laughable moment that he's had? So without further ado, let's bring in Bill. Bill, thank you so much for joining us today, for being our guest. How are you? From San Diego, from Rosarito, all the way up to Boston.
Hey, Vidal. Nice to see you, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Bill, tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. Let us know who you are.
Sure. So I'm lots of things. I'm a dad, and I'm a hockey player, but mostly professionally, I'm a business coach.
Business.
Yes,
Wow.
I help businesses grow. I'm not an executive coach. I work with the entire team, not just one person. And I teach them a framework on how to grow a healthy and thriving organization.
Amazing. A healthy and thriving organization. Don't we all need one?
Yeah, maybe both.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know if you heard, today we celebrate National Laugh Day.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to laugh through the day? Being a parent, being a dad, I know that you laugh every single day with your kids.
Well, my kid is going to be 21 in a few weeks, so she doesn't live here anymore.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily get to talk to her every day, but yes, she definitely brings me joy, even just knowing that she's out there, even though she's, 300-400 miles away.
Oh, wow.
That definitely brings me joy. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. So I'm pretty sure you laugh every single day, or you take life very serious.
I try to laugh every day. I'm an Irishman. We don't generally take life very seriously, I think, as an entire culture.
Oh, happy belated St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you very much. Yep. I am well, as much as you can be 100% of anything these days with 23andMe. My family goes back many, many generations from Ireland. So I'm supposedly a purebred.
Wow.
I'm 100% Irish. Yeah. So,
wow.
But thank you very much.
So you're a business coach.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need a business coach? That's what a lot of people ask. Like, most business owners know everything. If not all business owners know everything.
Sure. Well, you don't need a business coach. But if you look at the greats of anything, generally they have a coach. Michael Jordan has a coach. Wayne Gretzky had a coach. Pick your awesome elite sports person. They had a coach. They might have had multiple coaches. In business, many great business leaders had coaches. Steve Jobs had a coach. His name was Bill Campbell. Bill Campbell also coached Sergey and Larry from Google. So lots of really great folks have a coach, because you can't really do it all. And we don't see, we sort of have a blind spot of ourselves. And a coach sometimes can help you look at things in a different way than maybe you did before, as well as obviously share things with you that you didn't know either. Or ask questions that you hadn't even pondered before. I'm very Socratic in my approach. I ask a lot of questions, basic, simple questions that really focus around the word why more than anything.
It's all about the questions that you ask.
Yeah.
It's all about asking so you can gather the information and guide them. And you're 100% right. Most successful, if not all successful individuals throughout history have had a coach, an advisor, mentor. And look where they are. Like if you're into sports, you must have your best your idol or your best sport team player or team. And what do they have in common? They all have a coach.
Yep.
Somebody's directing them. Somebody's making them accountable.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So what would you say it's been your biggest challenge with the people that you coach, the teams that you coach?
Yeah. So I think the thing I've found most, so I've studied business for over 30 years now.
Wow.
And really a lot in the last 5 or 6, really looking into success, why people succeed, but also why people fail. And I'll tell you, there are many, many, many more ways to fail than there are to succeed. I think 3 or 4 years ago, I just typed into Google saying, hey, give me all the reasons that businesses fail. I just started writing them down. And I think I got to about 35 and I just stopped. It's like, and there were more to go. It's like, there's just a ton of ways. But I think the biggest one is probably goes around the what some call the undisciplined pursuit of more. Most businesses die of indigestion, not of starvation. And there's a great saying, I think this guy, his name is Edward Abbey, and he said, growth for growth's sake is the ideology of a cancer cell. And a cancer cell often kills its host. So, right. If you just do it in an undisciplined way, you'll start to grow wide and chase revenue as opposed to really focusing on the things that drive the most important financial numbers in your business, which is profit and cash. Cash has to precede growth, and it should be your primary financial metric for growth. So you can understand what you want to do to grow, and then you should say, how much is all that going to cost? And then build your plan to do that. Because there's your best customers, your most valuable customers are 16 times more valuable to you than your other customers.
Right.
So, don't get more customers, get more of the right kinds of customers.
Exactly. And people always are looking and chasing. You said it right. Revenue. I want to increase my sales. I want to increase my sales. I want to increase my sales. However it's necessary or done. And they grow if they grow. And they throw money at it. And they have no freaking idea what they're throwing money at it. They have no freaking idea if the revenue is coming in. I'm just keep invoicing. There it is. And it's growing. It's growing. It's growing. And at the end of the day, it's like, where the hell is the profit? Where the hell is the money?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to go back to what I was doing 5 years ago, and I'll probably have more money in my pocket. Guess what? You're right. Because you have no systems, you have no procedures, you have not a replicable model. Like, so how do you make the business owners that you coach and or the team realize that?
Well, I don't think I don't think I can make anybody do anything.
Right.
But I give them lots of examples, and just sort of bring them through the process that says, here are the best companies that last, generations and centuries, why they are the way they are. And there's a pattern that at least I've found that they do the same few things really well. And I'll give them lots of good examples. The best company best public company in the US anyway, is an airline. That's Southwest Airlines. They have been profitable up until last quarter, because of COVID. They were profitable for 49 straight years. Every quarter, never missed a quarter. And they focused on one customer, which was the person who was going to take the bus instead of a plane. And they created a service that would entice them to travel by air, which was faster, for them, and certainly easier for them than going by the bus. And so they created this hyper efficient model where they could keep their prices low. They certainly put us through lots of, they make us go over hurdles and things, right? With the cattle car kind of model. And, they only serve you salt and sugar on the plane and packages. And, you can't pick your seat and all these things because that's more efficient. That allows them to keep their costs down. Because most airlines are in the process of constantly going out of business. Right. Just to try to get more money from the government. It's one of the worst run industries on a regular basis. And Southwest has really bucked the trend because they focused on a certain kind of customer. And guess what? There are lots of those people, and so they've done really well. So that's what I do. Is I try to point it out, and if they start to see that. Interesting, all this data starts to pile up, like, well, maybe I need to change my ways, or maybe I just need to do more of what I'm doing.
But how can you, like, what I see with at least with our customers in general, and this is not to criticize our clients or the business owners, entrepreneurs, is that most of them are seeking to reinvent the wheel. And they say, I don't really care what other companies, even though there's a proven model, even though that they've been successful, they want to be the next, they want to be the next CEO that reinvents the wheel and finds a new model to generate wealth and profits. And instead of focusing on not copying, but implementing a system that it's proven to work. I have clients that want to buy a franchise, but they don't know how to follow procedures. They want to jump from number 5 to number 20 and then go back to number 10 and say, why the fuck this is not working?
Yeah, well, again, they're focused on the wrong things. One of the things that I tell leaders is my job is to get you to fire yourself from the day to day. Once you get through that knothole and you really kind of figure out your business model a little bit, there's some predictability in the business. Your job is not to run the business anymore, and keep removing yourself from that, because your job is to predict the future of the business, which, by the way, might include a different kind of model. That's perfectly fine. But often what we do is we don't come to that conclusion by gathering information and talking to people. We sit in a room and decide. And then we sort of try to sell that idea to the two most important constituencies, which are our team members, our employees, and our customers. And most of the time they're not buying in.
But how can you make the business owner phase from that thing of, do you know what? I created the company so I can be busy and occupied, instead of shifting that mindset to, hey, I'm going to go sit down, relax, focus on the growth and predicting growth and taking this company forward by not being hands-on, by not being occupied, by not being busy, by not generating stupid little tasks that are not generating, and in my belief, generating money.
Yep. Again, I don't make anybody do anything. I pick my clients. So I know that you cannot change behavior by yourself. It's really hard to do, and it takes a long time.
So what's the process of the coaching with you on that? Like, what would be the process? How do you show them? Because I'm very cold and cutthroat, and I fired from their business owners. Like, I've said, you know what, straight to their face, you are the problem of this company that can go bankrupt. And you are. So you either step out or we're done. And they fire me, and they call me a week later, and you know what? You're right. You were right. Like, come back.
I can't imagine how often that happens. My guess is it doesn't happen quite that often, because most people are the hero of their own stories. So to have someone who's sort of their own humility is hard, right? We have what's called the fundamental attribution error, which is we think that when we do something bad, it's just a bad day or something. But when someone else does something bad, it says something about them. They're bad people, right? So again, I've fired many clients or not brought on clients because I'm looking for someone who's humble. I'm looking for someone who's a learner, and I'm looking for someone who's comfortable constantly challenging the status quo. If I find through my sales process that they aren't those things, I don't work with them because I'm not going to, I know the time and energy it would take for me to convince you to change a behavior that you may have a strong belief in is not worth my time and energy. And you're not going to be a good client for me. And I generally work on referrals. So I only work with people who I think are the best clients. I haven't been perfect. I've certainly made some mistakes, or I was lax in my process. And I'm like, oh, they seem like a guy. I'll give them a shot. And then a year later, I realize they're not doing anything. They're not doing the work. They're not a good client. And I'll say, I won't say that to them, but I'll say, I had one client where I said, here's the deal. I've asked you to do these things that will show me that you're the leader that you need to be, and you haven't done them. I said, when you do them, because they wanted to keep working together. I said, when you do them, call me back, and then we'll keep working, because that'll show me that you want to be a leader, that you have some humility, et cetera, and you're not sort of just doing the status quo.
And it's so interesting because when you talk about humility, is people think that they're humble. And when it comes to when you have conversations and when it comes to actually accountability, you're right. Everybody is wrong except me, the business owner. I am the owner. You work for me. You do whatever I ask you to do. Even though you were hired to advise, even though you were hired as an expert in this, you're no longer an expert. I am the expert and you do whatever I want you to do. But why is my company failing? It's your fault. It's your fault. Dude, yeah. You're here. You're paying me to kiss your ass instead of letting me do my job.
Yeah. I ask one question. If a leader ever says that to me, I say, who hired him?
Right.
And that's it. I mean, that's
oh my God.
Right. And then you hired badly. So again, it's your fault. You hired the wrong people then. It could be also you didn't train them and the business outgrew them. It could be lots of things, but generally it comes back to the leader. That's right. Why you're the leader, right? Is you're in charge. You're in front. You're saying let's do this. And if you're not leading, you're just managing or having authority. That's not the same.
And how do you handle work and life balance? Like you personally, and if you see look, Mexicans, and I know in general some business. I'm Mexican, so I can speak badly about Mexicans. Mexicans, we are trained as business owners that we have to get to the office before any of our employees and team members. We have to turn on the lights, we have to turn on the equipment, and we have to leave the office after everybody else left the office and finish everything in the work and turn off the light, lock the door behind us, and go home. That's how we are trained. That's how, at least I saw it in my house. In my house, my dad was the first one there, the last one to leave, and you're supposed to do that. It's your business, right?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Well, I mean,
personally and with your clients, how you.
Culture is strong. Yeah. So, that's, again, part of it is, so I don't, again, if you think your job is to run the business, then yes, then that makes sense, right? Because you're running it. But my philosophy is your job isn't to run the business. Your job is to predict the future of the business. Now that'll vary between size and, and the roles and that kind of thing. It's hard to completely fire yourself from your business, but your job is to constantly try to figure that out. And what you can do is, I would say, first thing is, why don't you train somebody how to go and turn on the lights and open the door and start the day? Why do you need to do that? How much do you make an hour? So you're paying, why don't you pay someone who probably makes a third of what you make an hour to do that? Because that's probably not a good use of your time.
Haven't you found that if you ask the business owner how much you're making an hour, they don't know other than their salary? Like if you were to do an exercise with them and say, hey, let's see, how much do you make an hour? And how much would you make if I put you out, you focus and direct the company, generate more revenue or generate more business, invent research and develop, instead of you hiring somebody and then pulling yourself out. Like, they'll be amazed. We have a case of a restaurant owner that, according to them, their restaurant was crappy. They were not doing money, but other than catering. And I said, are you sure? Yes, catering is keeping us afloat. They were actually undercharging an average $5 in their catering company. Undercharging every single customer $5 per.
Huh.
And they were like so persistent. Say, no, we're making money in catering. Like, no, you're not.
Right.
So how would you balance, going back to life and family and business? How do you balance that? How do you manage?
Yeah. So I don't think that's the right question.
Okay.
Work and life aren't the same.
Right.
It's all life. Then there's work, then there's play, then there's family, friends, fun. There's all this other stuff. If you want to have a life, then you should make sure that you balance all the other stuff.
But most business owners or most entrepreneurs, they start their own business because I want to have free time.
Yeah.
They don't know better.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, why did you start your business? Because I want to have a lot of time. I want to be with my family.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah. Until you really get yourself into it. But so how did you manage to balance that?
So I don't work that much at all.
Okay.
I get paid an obscene amount of money an hour, but I'm worth it. I have 5 clients. Last year I made a good amount of money, definitely top 2-3% in the country. I worked 50 days.
Through the whole year?
Out of 220 working days, not counting weekends, I worked 50 days. Now, and the other part of the time, I gave away my time and energy. I did speaking. I did some other fun things. I did volunteering. I went to every single one of my daughter's swim meets in Ithaca, New York. I drove there on a regular basis, make sure I didn't miss any. Because I did startups. I did 10 startups. So I totally know what it means to get sucked into to the business, right? And that was a complete opposite of what I am now. But I loved doing that. So I actually didn't mind that much putting in the time and effort. Every 3 or 4 years, there was some sort of reward, or the company went out of business and I did it again. Luckily, I was 5 for 10 or 5 for 7, depending on how you count my contribution. So I was pretty lucky in that. But yeah, when people say, how do you work-life balance? I say, you don't understand it. You don't understand the equation. It's all life. Everything is life. Work is one part of life. They are not on the same plane. So how do you want to live your life, and how does work fit into that type of thing? I'm now in a situation where I'm pretty much able to do what I want when I want. I pick my clients when I want. I don't need that many. They stay with me for years. I get to do all these cool things because I was deliberate in that. Now, when I first started, I was paid below the poverty level.
That's interesting, because a lot of business owners nowadays, or entrepreneurs or startups, they want to be at your level, or our level, Bill Gates level. Is like, dude, everything since it's on Instagram or in Facebook or TikTok or whatever, I want to have that life instantaneously.
Yeah. I mean, that can happen, but that's pretty rare. That's, win the lottery or whatever. I do things that I can control, right? And there's 3 things in your life. If you can control, you can sort of control, and you can't. If you focus on those first 2, you're a much better chance of actually doing something and making a difference, right? So will you mind repeating that for us? Because that's amazing advice. Yeah. So there's 3 things, right? And I'll get back to the thing you mentioned earlier around, helping the leaders see how they can use their time more effectively. So there are 3 things in terms of control. There's stuff you can absolutely control. You have total control over: getting up out of bed, having breakfast, whatever. There's stuff you have some control over, your people, and you can influence them, etc. And there's stuff you have no control over. I study Stoicism, as a philosophy, and don't worry about that stuff. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Just don't even have it go on your plate and spend much more time on the stuff you can control, and then some of on the stuff you have some control over. And because you mentioned something earlier, you said, hey, you know, how do you get them to see that if they spend their time differently, things will be better? And that's really hard. We don't do well predicting the future. So I don't ask it that way. I say, here's what I want you to do. For the next week, I want you to write down every single decision you made. I don't care what it was. Brushing your teeth, whatever, write them all down. And then I want you to review them and tell me which one of those decisions really mattered. It's only going to be a handful. I said, that's your job. Your job is to get rid of all the other decisions as much as you can. Either train people to do it, or, you know, Steve Jobs, you know, wore black turtlenecks and jeans because he didn't want to make a decision on clothes, right? He just got rid of it. I don't, you know, I found out, I read years ago that to set up a meeting takes 8 back and forths for every meeting. So I use Calendly. I say, oh, you want to meet with me? Here's my calendar. Pick a time, and I'm done. So anytime you can do any of that.
Simplify things.
Yeah.
Let's simplify things. People want to overthink everything.
Yeah.
And you're 100% right. You cannot push somebody through the ledge and expect them to change.
Yeah.
You have to do that jump. You have to realize I hit rock bottom. I am whatever it is, but you have to realize it. It has to come to you, even when you are on this being treated for any substance abuse or whatever. It has to be you yourself who decides to either take that jump or it won't happen.
But that's one thing. So that's the middle one, right? You have some control over it. You can make it easier for them to see that, right? There's a great evolutionary psychologist, his name is Jonathan Haidt, and he talks about our brain is basically an elephant and a rider. And the elephant, if the elephant wants something, it's going to get it. The rider has no control over the elephant. And most of the time, our rider just justifies the action of the elephant, right? Because most of our decisions and most of our behavior is out of our conscious awareness. And then we make things up after the fact. So in this time of COVID, the masks is a good example. Many people decide that they don't want to wear masks for whatever reason, and then they make up reasons after. The CO2 is going to kill me. It's about freedom. You can't tell me what to do. No, that's not the reason you're wearing a mask, to protect other people from potentially you getting them sick. It's like, well, the flu is the same. And then they start looking at data. It's like, no, it's not. This is 500 times worse than the flu. Right. And so, but that's what we do. We rationalize things after the fact. So if you can appeal to the elephant as much as possible and making things easy, making things so it's in there, they see it in their best interest, they're much more likely to change their behaviors than if you sort of wag your finger at them and tell them the data. And you must do this because it's good for you. Guess what? We do a lot of stuff that isn't good for us, but we keep doing it. I mean, the United States is the fattest country in the world, right? We have more obese people because it's just easier to take the calories. It feels good. It tastes good. It's hard to be disciplined.
Well, it actually suits us. It's comforting. It's inside our box. It's so funny because it just brings me to mind. Sorry, Miguel Angel, my brother. He's a doctor, right? And he's super scared about COVID, and he treats cancer patients, right? But and he's super scared about the sun and all the produce and processed things. But he drinks Coca-Cola like crazy. Yeah, I'm like, there's a contradiction there. It suits you, so therefore it's okay. So
people say I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I'm very healthy. I'm extremely healthy. And they run in there. I say, but you smoke. Oh, but I don't smoke that much. I don't smoke that much. Right. So we rationalize. Right? Again, we're the hero of our own story. Right?
Yes.
We always make up reasons.
Coke Zero. I drink Coke Zero. Yeah. It's been very, very enlightening. I super enjoy this conversation with you. You made a lot of amazing points, ideas came across. I loved it. It's super enlightening. Anybody who will listen to this, should take a lot of nuggets from this, a lot of advice, just a couple of things that you implement. They'll be on a good path to success. Bill, do you mind sharing with us if you have your website, or where can they reach if they want to talk to you or follow up with anything? If you can let us know your website.
Yeah, and you have right there in the little a banner down the bottom. So it's Catalyst Growth Advisors is my website. So it's catalystgrowthadvisors.com. All my contact info is there. I have a book that I wrote. I have blog posts, about 130 blog posts that I've written over the last 3 or 4 years. All sorts of good stuff is on there.
People, please go and read it. Get a hold of him. We all need a coach. We all need a coach. It's a must. If you want to succeed. If you want to succeed. Well, Bill, thank you so much for being our guest. Every show we end up with a quote, and this quote comes from Jamie Dimon. He's president and CEO of JP Morgan Chase. And he said,
yep,
companies that grow for the sake of growth, or that expand into areas outside their core business strategy, often stumble. On the other hand, companies that build scale for the benefit of their customers and shareholders more often succeed over time. They actually have a true vision.
Yeah.
They actually have a true vision.
Yep. That's what
and
you
they
need.
know their mission in life. Bill, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And as I said to everyone on the Friday, unplug, decompress, enjoy yourself and your family, enjoy life. Forget about your business. Your business will be there Monday morning. Bon appetit. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Lunch with the Shark. If you would like to set up a consultation with the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa, visit his website www.invictus-advisors.com, and don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn.